Welcome back, everyone. October is, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The national government study shows 1 out of every 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in their lives. For women needing hormonal replacement therapy, there's still a lot of misconception out there that might be a link between the two because of a 2002 termination of a particular trial. Well, Dr. Gino Tutera, medical director of SottoPelle Therapy, is here to explain that all therapy is basically not created equal. And we're also going to tell everybody about a seminar coming up that folks can learn more information on. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you are an OBGYN. What do you tell patients about self-examinations, what to look out for?
Well, I think that, that the thing that I try and impress upon them is that, number one, is that they need to get very familiar with their own anatomy, and therefore they need to do regular checks.
And a lot of women don't.
No, and that, unfortunately, and I would recommend that they do it at least once a month.
Okay.
And at minimum, and it's very easy to do while they're in the shower. They can put their arm above their head and just, examine their breast and look for any changes that they think weren't present before. A good number of lumps, not necessarily cancers, but lumps are discovered, by the patient themselves, and that precedes even going for a mammogram.
What about family history? What kind of role does that play in your chances for getting breast cancer?
Family history has, there is a good significant, correlation between, a strong family history. Even in my family, I have, 2 sisters who have breast cancer, and if you do have that sort of repetitive history, grandmother, mother, then you need to have, not only should you be very, very aware of doing regular checks, but also getting, regular mammograms. And in addition, I would even recommend that they get a blood test to see if they have a gene mutation. It's called the BRCA gene. Okay.
Getting screened, how often, at what age, when are the mammograms, best for?
Well, it's been recommended, of course, and there's controversy in the media and even in the medical community about when it should be started. I personally like to see it starting at around the age 40 to 45.
Earlier if you have a family history.
And yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How do our lifestyles and habits contribute?
Obesity is probably one of the worst factors that you can have. Obesity and smoking are both, 2 of the most detrimental things that, that can lead to the development of breast cancer and putting you more at risk. And obesity can also lead to other problems such as diabetes, but also cancer of the lining of the uterus, because that extra fat makes hormone, and it makes a very abnormal estrogen, which can really affect breast and uterine health.
And that is your specialty, hormonal imbalance. Why has hormonal replacement therapy, HRT, gotten a bad rap in relation to breast cancer? Because we've seen that link over the past decade.
The problem is that there was a study that came out in 2002. It was called the Women's Health Initiative, and it was supported by the company that makes horse estrogen called Premarin, and they thought that this would they could basically cleanse their name. And what happened is they shot themselves in the foot, because they found out that horse estrogen can lead to the development of breast cancer to a higher degree. Unfortunately, we've been coerced into thinking that all estrogens are the same, and that's absolutely incorrect.
Okay, and that's some of the things you're going to be touching upon in a seminar that you're doing next month. Tell us about that so folks can learn more information, because there's a lot of ground to cover when it comes to hormonal imbalance.
Right, and the reason we use pellet therapy is because dating back to there are studies out there that show that it does not increase the incidence of breast cancer. We're going to be talking about this at our seminar coming up in November.
Okay, there's the information on your screen. Space is limited again, but if you miss any of this, we'll put a link on our website at azfamily.com. Dr. Tutera, thank you so much for explaining that a little better for us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Still ahead.